Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, SirSpam28 here bringing you some more World of Warships action. This video I wanted to take a look at a couple of things. The first is going to be a new system to me that I never had the chance to really play with before, and that's going to be the signal flag system. And then the second part of the video is going to be using this USS St. Louis Tier 3 cruiser, which is going to be kind of my show ship for the signal flag system. We'll actually jump into a match with this ship and just show you what it can do, just a little live commentary. It was a pretty great match, and I just want to show it off and really show you the strengths of this ship and what it can do in capable and competent hands, and hopefully give you some tips and some gameplay examples of how you can actually use it to its fullest potential to dominate the seas. But first and foremost, let's take a look at the signal flag system. Now, just earlier today, I was able to upgrade my account to a level 7 account, which means that I got access to the signal flag system. Now, I was level 7, I actually was a higher level account than that, back in the kind of regular closed beta, but the signal flag system got patched in just before I took my hiatus. I believe it came in with the patch that introduced the American battleships and the Japanese carriers. And really, honestly, like 2 days after that patch dropped is when I kind of stopped playing the game for a little while, due to events previously explained in my I'm Back video. So I never really got a chance to try out this system too much, but now that I have access to it in the open beta period, and we're just going to say that it's the open beta period, because by the time most of you are watching this video, it's probably going to be well within the actual open beta. I just wanted to explain and kind of go over the system for any new players that are coming in, so that once you do reach a level 7 account, or if you started, this open beta period with like a level 3 or 4 or 5, or even a 6 account like I did, due to your participation in the closed beta, once you reach level 7 and you access this signal system, if you haven't used it before, it might be a little bit confusing. So just to clarify some things, we'll go over that now. Basically, what signals are there little flags that you can mount to your ship that kind of modify the behavior of your ship for one match. And then at the end of that match, any signals that you have mounted are consumed and they're gone. And the only way to get more signals is by winning them through battle hero medals. So if we go to the exterior tab like I did, if you have any ship selected, any ship at all, and you're on the exterior tab, it'll be up here. It'll focus on the main mast and on the yard arms and halberds that run from those yard arms on the main mast, because that's where the signal flags are going to be raised and lowered from. So if we go back to our St. Louis, our example ship here, you can see that it's focused on this area here. Now, normally, there'd also be camouflage here on the exterior panel, but that will come with a level 8 account, and that'll be a separate video. But you can see that if you click on a signal flag, it'll give you a little preview of what it's going to look like on those halberds when you're flying it. And when you click on it, or indeed just hover over it, it'll kind of tell you what it does in real life, what the actual signal meant in World War II, and I'm pretty sure these are accurate. They might not be, but I'm pretty sure they are. And then it'll tell you what it's going to do in-game, and then it also will tell you how to get more of those signal flags. So, for example, let's take a look at this one here, which I have 19 of, and most of these I've actually earned from the closed beta test as well. Signal flags were another closed beta reward, and you got the more battles you participated in, the more signal flags you got. Pretty much everyone that participated in the closed beta is going to have some signal flags. If you don't see them, or indeed if you don't have this exterior tab, don't worry. This probably means you're not a level 7 account yet, and as soon as you get there, this exterior tab will unlock and appear, and you can click it, and the signal flags that you earned in the closed beta will be there waiting for you. So, without further ado, let's take a look at some actual flags. You can see that this one I have 19 of. India, Bravo, Terra 3. I have not received any damage is the actual, meaning of that signal. And what this translates to in-game is that you have minus 5% of the cost of the ship's post-battle repair. So if you go ahead and click on that, that's, again, what it's going to look like. And the minus 5% of the cost of the ship's post-battle repair is going to be pretty nifty. This is going to be mostly useful for higher tier ships when the repair costs get really, really big. Especially if you're going to be a damage sponge, like a heavy cruiser or a battleship, and you're going to be anticipate taking a lot of damage in a match. and it's a high tier, so the repair cost is a lot. You can shave a little bit off that with this signal flag, and you can see the way that you get it if you hover over this battle hero reward is by having that it's just a flesh wound reward, which you get by destroying any enemy ship after your ship has been destroyed. And you can see I actually won this battle hero reward once already in my Umakaze, and that should be in the previous video to this one, where you actually see me win that award. So it all ties together. You can also see that you can only attain an additional reward. So when it talks about an additional reward is given once in each 24-hour period, that's talking about this actual signal flag that you get for winning that battle hero reward. And you can only get one signal flag per battle hero reward per 24-hour period. And they do that just to prevent people from farming the signal flags. Because some of the things, like this one, like it's just a flesh one. Really, if you're in a destroyer, you could charge in at the beginning of every match, get your torpedo salvo off on the first enemy you see, sink him, or die, and then hope to sink him. Or there's even one, I believe it's for first blood. Let's see if we can't find that one. Not detonation, not unsinkable, not die hard, double strike, dreadnought. It's probably not here. But there is one for first blood, or there's a battle hero reward, you know, for first blood. Oh, there we go. That's the only one I didn't hover over. So yeah, exactly. The Zudu flag, the well-known signal of the Japanese Navy, which will give you plus 20% to credits earned in a battle. And you get this flag by getting the first blood battle hero reward. Now, the first blood battle hero reward is going to be really easy to get if you just charge ahead in a destroyer and obliterate the first thing you see with one torpedo salvo, but then die right afterwards. You're going to get first blood, and you're going to get the Zulu flag, but you're not going to help your team win. So to curb that behavior in the player base, they're only going to give you the Zulu flag once per first blood medal per 24 hours. So if you play a match and get first blood and then get the Zulu flag on top of that, and then in your very next match you get first blood again, you're still going to get the battle hero reward, but you're not going to get the flag because they don't want you farming the flag to the detriment of your team and helping your team win. So the other major thing that you want to know about battle flags is that you can mount 8 of them per ship. So you know, that's a lot, and you can modify the stats of a particular ship for a particular match by quite a bit, and some of these have a pretty healthy effect. So if you take the Oscar, or the Hotel Yankee rather, battle flag for example, you can see this is kind of the ramming themed one, and it does negative 20% damage received when ramming, but plus 50% damage caused when ramming the enemy, which is a huge modifier. Which is also why these flags are actually consumed at the end of the match. They're not a permanent bonus to the ship. They're a once per match bonus that goes away. And they make them pretty hard to get by tying them to the battle hero rewards. And they make them even harder by only giving you one flag per 24 hours. And that's why they're able to make these bonuses so pretty huge. So that's pretty much going to be it for the battle flag system. I guess the other thing to cover is that if you mount flags to a ship, like let's say I mount this plus 50% XP earned in a battle, which again is a huge bonus. If I go ahead and click on that, it'll give me the preview. To actually mount it, you do have to click the mount button, and there we go. It's applied. It'll give the 1 out of 8, and then it'll give the little check mark next to the flags, or next to the signals that are mounted on the ship. And now even if I go back, you know, to modules or ports or dips, and then come back to the St. Louis, that signal's gonna be there, and it's just on the St. Louis. When you mount it, it doesn't mount it to all your ships across the board. It just mounts it to the particular ship that you mounted it to, and this will stay there mounted to the St. Louis until I actually play a match in this ship, and then once I play a match, the signal will be consumed and will not be there for the next match unless I click this auto resupply. If I enable auto resupply, that means that as long as I have flags in my inventory that are mounted, they're going to be remounted for the next match and the next match and the next match. So if you know that you're going to be grinding on a ship, like the St. Louis, for example, if you look at the modules here, I'm going to have to grind out both the South Carolina, which I already have. No, I'm not there. I have to use free experience, so I'm not quite at the South Carolina yet. I have to grind out the South Carolina and the Phoenix, so that's over 10,000 XP I have to grind, which is probably going to be at least 6-7 matches. So to curb that a little bit, I know I'm going to be grinding with this ship for a while. I can actually just mount, you know, the XP gain signal flag and then auto resupply, so I can do a battle, come back to port, requeue, come back to port without having to go into the exterior tab and mount that flag every time in between battles until my grind is done, and then I can always come in and disable the auto resupply. You can also demount flags. So if I have this flag mounted here, it hasn't been consumed yet because I haven't used it in a match, so I can always go ahead and demount it and conserve that flag. If I accidentally mount something, or if I have one flag left and I mount it to the wrong ship, but I meant to mount it to this ship over here, you can always demount it and then remount it in the appropriate place as long as it's still there and you haven't played a match with it yet, because as soon as you go into the battle, it is consumed from your inventory and applied to that ship for that battle. So that's it for the signal flag system. Fairly straightforward, but I think fairly nifty. Some of the things that it allows you to do, there's some pretty cool effects like this one. Negative 20% to time of fire extinguishing. So if you're going to be in a battleship that's on fire a lot, that's going to be pretty nifty. We've got this one over here, I guess plus 20% credits earned, which is nice. You got secondaries, plus 5% to secondary battery max firing range, minus 5% to second battery loading time. So if you're in a battleship with a lot of secondaries and you're going to be in close quarters, you can mount that, to help you out a little bit there. This is another kind of battleship one, plus 20% to HP recovery speed when you're using that battleship consumable, the repair party, to get your HP back. So you can see minus 20% to flooding recovery time. These are pretty, minus this one's amazing, minus 100% to chance of magazine detonation. So if you have Juliet Charlie mounted on your ship, it is impossible for your magazine to explode. It is impossible for you to get Citadel penned in the magazines and have them actually explode, which most of the time will one-shot your ship. So again, signal flags, really powerful, but they are one-off. They will be consumed as soon as you use them, which means that you need to be judicious with their use, and especially if you're using some of these signal flags that do increase, your XP gain or your credit gain, because they are going to be consumed during that battle. No matter how well you do or not well you do, you want to make sure if you're mounting, the credit gain, XP gain ones, that you're doing well in that next battle. You want to make sure that you're playing safe, you're playing sound, and you're getting your money's worth out of those signal flags that are going to be consumed. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into a match in the St. Louis. The match I actually played before I recorded the signal flag bit, so it'll kind of like a reverse time deal, and you'll actually see me in that match flying some of these signal flags. I believe they're just mostly they're the XP and credit gain ones. There might be some other ones. I think I'm flying the ones that are all 9. So I'm flying the post-battle repair one. I'm flying the maximum speed one, which is nice. I'm flying the plus 50% XP earned in battle one, and I'm flying the negative 20% time to fire extinguish one in the battle up ahead. So I hope you enjoyed the look at the signal flags, and I hope you enjoy the upcoming battle. Hit the battle button, jump into the queue. You can see we're queued up in the St. Louis. We've got a pretty nice spread there, so yep, only 7 seconds waiting, and we pop and get into battle. And we'll see what kind of battle we're in and what damage we can do. Now, St. Louis, like I said, is a beast of a tier 3 cruiser. It's got tons of guns, especially fully upgraded. It's just absolutely positively bristling with guns, and those guns fire pretty fast, and they pack a pretty good punch. The St. Louis also has moderately okay armor for its tier, and a lot, I repeat, a lot of HP to burn through for its tier as well. It is, however, a very big ship, pretty slow, and not the most maneuverable beast in the water. So you definitely want to stay away from choke points, stay away from narrow channels, and definitely want to stay away from enemy destroyers. Luckily, looking at the team list, the enemy only has 1 destroyer, so that's pretty nice for us. They do have 2 battleships, and battleship, they're big guns firing AP. Can get good Citadel hits and burn down a St. Louis. They can get lucky and one-shot a St. Louis if they hit the magazine or get multiple Citadel. But mostly on the enemy team, you can see that it's level 2 and level 3 cruisers, 2 enemy St. Louis to contend with versus 4 on our team. So this should be a pretty okay battle. Looking at where we're starting on the big board here, and I like the new big board. It kind of highlights your ship, and there's some additional information now as well. But you can just see we have 14 guns on this ship. I'm actually going to go ahead and switch over to AP right away. And you can see the reload's only about 4.7 seconds. So this ship just puts out a ton of fire. We're spawning in the north half of the map, and we've got ships already approaching the sea point. So we might actually swing into B and then allow us to flex either north or south, depending on where we're needed. So we'll go ahead and do that. We do have enemy St. Louis already coming into range. So I'm actually might just turn to starboard to begin with, and we want to avoid the collision with the Chikuma and see if we can't get some guns on target there. Nope, he's going to go behind the island. And you can see just, you know, it's not the most nimble ship ever. But we've got, oh, there we go. We've got a Chester. Maybe we can get some shots on him before he goes behind the island. But as he's shooting at me, we just hit his stern. We've got another Chester that's coming into range here. So we'll go ahead and give him what for. Some people like to ripple fire in their ship, but I've always felt that full broadsides usually give you more bang for your buck. So looking at the enemy deployment, it looks like they're pretty heavily north. So we'll go ahead and start to turn around and see if we can't start shading with them north. Unfortunately, we've got some collisions in front of us here, but this ship should turn tight enough to avoid those. And the good thing about the St. Louis and its configuration of guns is that it doesn't have turrets. It's mostly guns on the side and casements. There's a couple of guns on the bow and on the stern that are, they're not in turrets, but they're on the deck and they can swivel in either direction. But the majority of guns being on the side and casements being that means that, you know, even if you're changing directions and changing flanks, and there you can go. Good Citadel hits with the AP, taking that guy out from about 30% health to nothing. Hopefully this Chester comes around the island and we can start to do kind of the same thing to him. He's moving pretty slow, so those are actually going to fall short, but the slow reload, or the fast reload rather, means that we can adjust our aim and hopefully get some good Citadel shots. Yep, just like that. We can actually aim a little bit more back and put another one in there and see what that does to him. And boom, yep, get another Citadel and take out his propulsion. We do have torpedoes in the water, so we want to start turning our bow into those. We are just set on fire, so we'll repair that in a second. But I'm going to wait to see if I can't dodge this torpedo to repair. So now that I know I am, because if that torpedo hit and caused flooding, and we had just repaired previous to that, that would have been bad, because flooding does a lot more damage than a fire ever would. So you want to try to, you know, be judicious. You can just see the Citadel hits that we're able to get here with these guns in the St. Louis. And just the rate of fire and the volume of fire that you have is pretty devastating. Now, I do not want to run aground, so I'm going to go ahead and jog a little bit to port here, just to avoid running aground, and see if we can't finish off this Chikuma with our last salvo here. Yep, there we go. I do want to avoid the battleships, as I say that as I come face to face with the battleship. So hopefully I don't get taken out in a salvo here. I'm going to keep AP loaded, just because I don't want to switch over, and we actually just did a ton of damage to him. So we'll see if we can't kind of avoid the belt armor and shoot at his bow, where it's a little less armored, to make these AP shots actually pen and do pretty good damage. Unfortunately, that destroyer is probably going to kill us, but we'll see if we can avoid those torpedoes. The battleship does get taken out, and now this destroyer, we'll see if we can't also take him out. We did avoid his torpedoes, and we want to turn our bow into him, because if he has torpedoes, again, we don't want to get hit by those. And we should be able to take him out with those shots there. And now cruise right through the channel and look to this Chikuma on our starboard side as we turn around and get our guns in a good firing position. See if we can't get some good Citadels on him. Even if we're not going to get Citadels with the AP, we can still, you know, pen him and do good damage. The angle that he's at is going to make it really hard for us to get Citadels at this pretty sharp angle. But at the same time, I'm also crossing his T, so I'm able to hit him with almost all of my batteries, and he's only able to fire a couple of guns at me. So the volume of fire that we're able to put out versus this guy at this particular angle just means that we should be able to nail him. That was a pretty poorly aimed shot, but this one probably should take him out. We'll actually aim a little bit closer to the water line and see if we can't take him out with the Citadel. Now, unfortunately, we are going to run around here because I was tunnel visioning a little bit, but that shouldn't matter that much. And we'll go ahead and fire an AP salvo at this battleship and then queue up the HE for the next shots, just to see if we can't set him on fire even more. Once we get all our shells reloaded, and you can just see just the volume of fire that this ship's able to put out is incredible, and really lets you kind of be a big bully in the middle of the map. As long as you're, aiming okay, which I'm definitely failing on this South Carolina right now. As long as you're aiming okay and getting consistent hits on the enemy with your volume of fire, you're really able to do really good work. We actually have plunging fire on this guy, so I might queue up the AP. If that fire doesn't kill him, or this next salvo doesn't kill him, yep, we're able to take him out as well. So now looking at what's left, we have a St. Louis over there. He's out of our range, but we 3-capped and we sunk enough that we just ended the match anyway. In pretty record timing, honestly. So not a bad haul. Again, this fully upgraded St. Louis, I really recommend this ship. And to tell you the truth, once the open beta hits, you're going to see a lot of closed beta players hanging on to the St. Louis and then just jumping into Tier 2 and Tier 3 and Tier 4 even matches and just decimating all the new bloods with this ship. Because this ship, A, it's tough. It can take a licking, especially if you're not hitting it with Citadel shots, which a lot of new players aren't going to be familiar with how to get Citadel hits on enemy ships. So this ship can take a licking, and its volume of fire is just such that if you do know how to aim and do know how to get Citadel hits, you're able to eat other cruisers absolutely for breakfast. And if you kind of stay out of range, or if you notice that a battleship really isn't focusing on you, again, the volume of fire with the ship is such that AP, HE doesn't matter. You can actually burn down some of the lower tier battleships' health pools really easily as well. So looking at this result, 142,000 credits, 2,528 experience, 127 free experience, and a First Blood Battle Hero medal, which you can see this can be obtained once per battle. And then you only get the signal flag rewards for the Battle Hero medals once every 24 hours. So you can't, that's kind of a tool. So like, let's say if they gave the signal flags every time you got a Battle Hero medal, what you could do is just get into a destroyer, rush straight at the enemy, hope to get a torpedo salvo off, and sink something, and then die. But that would get you the First Blood almost every game, which in turn would give you the First Blood reward signal flags almost every game, which means you could really farm those, but to the detriment of your team. So they limit winning the signal flag rewards on the Battle Hero medals to once per every 24 hours. Just to try to curb people solely farming those signal flags to the detriment of actually trying to help win the game. You can see 92 hits with our guns, 1 critical module done, 5 ships destroyed, 1 ship set on fire, 8 Citadel hits, and that's what I'm talking about. With the AP at these low tiers, aiming for the Citadels, it's devastating. And then we also assisted in base capture. Looking at the team score, probably going to come out on top, with 1,123 base experience. Now, getting into some Tier 2 and 3 and even some Tier 4 and 5 matches that I've been playing, I think I'm actually going to have to amend my amendment in the previous video. 1,000 XP is still a great game, but you should probably be shooting for about 750 XP. 500 XP seems a little bit low, just to what you'd be shooting for base experience. So I would say shoot for 750 base experience, 1,000 base experience still, if you can get there. You can see I had to take out 5 ships and do a lot to get 1,123 base experience, but this is, again, in a Tier 3 with lower health pools on the enemy team. So as we're getting up and up in tiers, that 1,000 mark, if you're having consistently good games, shouldn't be too hard to reach. I don't know if they nerfed the XP gain all that much in the kind of economy readjustment, but I do know that they made the XP costs of both modules and ships on the tech trees a hell of a lot more than they were in the regular closed beta. So let's amend our previous amendment and say 750 to 1,000 XP is what you should be, again, base raw XP is what you should be shooting for. as kind of a benchmark for your performance. Look at the detailed report. Damage caused, 206 shots fired. You know, that's just that volume of fire, those guns singing. This match didn't last all that long. 16-minute match, 206 shots fired, 87 AP hits for 52,660 damage, 13 HE hits for 1,040 damage, with 1 fire caused for 182 additional damage. 74 out of those 87 AP shells penned. So again, don't shy away from using AP at these lower tiers. The enemy ships just don't have enough armor to really consistently bounce your AP shells. This is enemy cruisers, enemy destroyers. Go to town with the AP on them. Aim at the waterline, aim amidships right below their smokestacks to get those Citadel hits and really cause these big damage numbers that you see in these early tiers. We fired 4 secondaries, but we didn't hit anything, so that doesn't really matter. And as you can see, we sunk 5 ships, but damaged what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Damaged 7 of the enemy ships and sunk 5 of those 7 that we actually shot at and damaged. So not too shabby. Looking at the credits on XP, again, running a premium account, and first win of the day leaves us with a very healthy 2,527 total XP. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Just kind of a quick look at the signal flag reward system and things that you can do. I guess, does the signal flag actually show up in here as well? Maybe, somewhere? Does it, total XP received 85 times 1.5? I guess the 1.5, the 1.5 is probably not for first win of the day, because I have already won with the St. Louis before. The 1.5 is, I think, probably counting that signal flag that we had mounted. So that's pretty nice. So that gives us the 2,527 XP. So with the, if this had been first one of the day and with that signal flag mounted, I'm betting that modifier would have been a 2.0 modifier, which would have gained us a lot of experience. What, 3,300 experience, which would have been nice. But I'll walk away with my head held high with 2,527 experience. So yeah. Anyway, just a look at some of the signal flags, how you can gain them during regular matches with these Battle Hero rewards, and then a look at a fully upgraded St. Louis and what it can do in a Tier 3, Tier 4 type game, even with a lot of Tier 2s on the enemy team as well, poor sods, just with the volume of fire that you have, and just, again, an additional reinforcement of using AP at low tiers is pretty much, I'm going to continue to say, the way to go. To do good work, sink ships really fast, and get big damage numbers done. Once you start hitting, I would say, Tier 5, Tier 6, you're going to have to be more judicious with your shell type, especially in cruisers, just because the 6 to 8 inch guns that cruisers are going to have, they're going to be pretty flexible, but once you start getting that high, battleships are going to be right out for shooting AP at, unless it's extreme range and you're getting extreme plunging fire and starting to go through the top deck instead of the belt armor. Then you can start thinking about shooting AP at them. But at that sort of range with a shell dispersion, you're better off shooting HE and probably trying to set them on fire. But that really, it comes into play at those kind of mid to higher tiers. It depends on what angle the enemy ships are at, and you can kind of see that with that Shikuma. Once we had crossed his T, we weren't getting any more Citadel hits, obviously. And we were probably getting a couple of ricochet and deflections in there as well, and that probably, some of those shots probably also counted against our non-penetrating AP shots, but we still were able to burn him down. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, comments, concerns about either the St. Louis AP shells at low tiers or the signal flag system and anything that entails that I didn't cover or didn't clarify to the full extent in this video, please let me know in the comments below. Also, let me know, what you'd like to see next. If there's any other systems in the game that I haven't covered yet that you are confused about, don't hesitate to ask me a question, or any other ships that you want to see talked about as well. Again, don't hesitate to ask or leave a comment. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.